So we're starting to paint our gridded portrait. You have hopefully you already have your gridded drawing. You took it from a reference photo, and then you have transferred the lines from your gridded drawing to your canvas paper. I'm skipping this step because I need to move on, but you need to transfer these lines. I have included a video on the website, but this method is where you take your pencil and you lather up the back with graphite, and then you flip that paper over and you would be able to trace out your lines on your canvas paper, and they'll show up underneath, much like a carbon copy would. I'll do a really quick push here. See how that line showed up behind it? Just because it's got the graphite on the back. So you might hold this up to a window so that you don't have to actually put a lot of graphite on the whole page. You'll just put the graphite where you know that the lines are. So that helps. Or if you have a light table, or you can even put it on a TV screen, something where it's going to be backlit and you can tell where the lines are. And then you just rub where those lines are, giving yourself the ability to press down and have that graphite transfer to the canvas paper that you were given in class. So you've done that step, and now you're ready. I have not, so that's why I painted on my grid. But let's talk about how to think about when you paint. This is just like what we did with the lion. It's the same thing where you look at those shapes, you look at each and every individual shape, and you're trying to assign a value to it. So let's take a look, and we'll just review with black and white these values. So let's say this nose shape, it's not bright white like this, right? These are pretty much, I can leave the canvas blank there or put white there. This is not white. So if I were to analyze, and you know what, I think I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to cut this, hold on, technical difficulty here, so I can get really close. If I were to analyze this nose, I would say it's almost this value, so it's basically 3 steps in. Now, because I'm painting in blue, it is this value, okay? So it's like 3 steps in, but it's 3 steps in blue. So I would take white to my palette, I would put a little bit of blue into it, and I would try to get it about as dark as the nose. This is why we're doing just one color, because when you go into color and there's all sorts of different hues, you're having to do that for every color that you see. So that shape, and I'm just going to kind of outline it. You don't have to make it as outlined as obviously this, but this shape in here would be about that 3rd blue. Down in here, you kind of blend it out, but this shape right here at the bottom of my nose is maybe more like this one. So that's, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I would want it more in this area of blue, okay? I don't know if that makes sense, this tip of the nose. And same once it gets in dark. Now, if it gets really, really dark, you can go ahead and just use black, that's fine, because see how the blue, it actually just goes into black. Same with the white. You don't have to make a tint, you can just use white. So white, blue, and black, you use those. If anything looks a little bit more grayed to you, you can go ahead. You don't have to just do a tint, because right in about here, I would say from about here in here, it really is kind of a tone. You can throw in a light gray and you'll do pretty well. It starts to kind of feel a little bit gray in here, so you can do that if you want, or just keep it pure white down into pure blue, and pure blue down into with black. And you can leave the tones out completely. If you add tones in, it expands this scale much further. So play with it, just play with it. If you find that you put paint down, we talked about this in class, if you find that you put paint down and you did it just too, it's just coming out too dark, you can actually take your paintbrush and you can wipe it off. It's called lifting. So you just take your paintbrush and you just lift it out and wipe it on your napkin or on a paper towel, and it will lighten it a little bit. Another thing you can do is if you find that you really need to kind of start over in a spot, you can wipe off or blot out the paint, and then you can go ahead and lightly cover it up with white and kind of white it out and then start over. So that works too. If you've made kind of just a bad, you judged it wrong and you're like, I really want to start over, then you can go ahead and do that. The other thing I would suggest is that you start light and then get darker. So if there's an area, when you just start your painting out, start with some of the lighter areas, like the nose, and I would start in these broad areas, that T-zone. Start with those, maybe the cheeks, and then build myself into darker until I'm feeling more comfortable with blending those colors. So it's just like shading with your pencil. It's just you're doing it with white, black, and a color. So, okay, I hope that helps. Take care. Bye.